Two Gallatin County men in court this morning after a man was killed here in what investigators say was a hit and run.
Also coming up, a new political mailer is disguised to look like something from the Census Bureau. Why Montana's lieutenant governor says that that document is deceptive.
Right at 6:30 on this Tuesday, Chet Lehman, Missy O'Malley, Matt Elwell with you here. Matt, you've been talking about it all morning. Winter is going to make a brief but impressive return to Southwest Montana.
You are exactly right. Today's going to be fantastic overall temperature-wise, but as you get into the afternoon and evening, we see that transition to snow, and because of that, winter storm warnings are out. Valley snow from 4 to 12 inches for some areas. Mountain snow upwards of a foot. Tomorrow morning's commute is going to be nothing short of nasty, and of course we're going to cover it step by step. Temperatures into the 30s right now for Bozeman and Butte, some 40s out there. Temperatures this afternoon into the mid 60s. Look for a lot of wind and some cool showers as you head into the evening. That's going to transition to snow quickly tonight. We'll talk to you all through the forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Oh boy, if you don't have the Storm Tracker weather app now, this might be a really good time to go download it.
No kidding.
Commercial break.
Do it.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
And it's free.
There you go.
It's free. It is coming up at 6:32 here on your Tuesday morning. A tough story for you now. Two men have been charged in connection with a fatal hit and run crash over the weekend.
MTN's Cody Boyer has the latest details.
Any time that we lose someone the way we did the other night, there's obviously families that are hurt.
The victim's son spoke with me off camera. He told me his father, whose name he did not yet want to give out, was out for a routine daily walk along the south side of Stagecoach Road. He never made it home, so the family called police to report him missing. Court documents then show a disturbing twist. Two men, Michael Marino and Daniel Cifuentes, had called police just 40 minutes before the missing person call. They told police they had been carjacked at gunpoint. Ultimately, investigators say Marino's story changed. According to court documents, Marino admitted that the carjacking was a lie. He and his passenger, Cifuentes, had been drunk driving when they hit a man here. Investigators say these orange marks left here on Stagecoach Trail Road, as well as off of the road and in the grass, are all that's left of this incident from Saturday night. According to them, the man was walking here when someone hit him and threw him into the ditch. Investigators say Marino drove the damaged Impala to a storage unit facility. And when they got to Marino's house, court documents reveal Marino's young daughter overheard them seemingly rehearsing a story, with Cifuentes calling for a ride out of town. Deputies found the car and are holding it for the investigation.
Everyone knows that person. In a lot of ways, there's a lot of people that are related that are in that area. And so that's the one impact. The other impact that we have as investigators is we continue to get reports because of who it is and because of the community.
The victim's son and others in Manhattan say the man was a pillar in the community, well known for years. In court, both Marino and Cifuentes sat quietly, with Marino accused of vehicular homicide, among other charges. Cifuentes was charged with obstructing justice. In Manhattan, Cody Boyer, MTN News.
Now Cody tells us Moreno could face up to 50 years if convicted of homicide, tampering with evidence, and then leaving the scene of a crime.
Cifuentes could face up to 10 years, and as of now, MTN has chosen not to release the name of that victim at the family's request.
In other headlines this morning here at 6:34, 36-year-old man from Big Sky was in Gallatin County Justice Court yesterday, charged with a DUI and having a blood alcohol content of 0.348. According to court documents, Christopher Hall was found sleeping in his car in the Bozeman Walmart parking lot on Saturday afternoon after driving from Big Sky. A driver on Highway 191 called Gallatin County Sheriff's Dispatch and said Hall had been swerving in and out of his lane, even went off the road at one point. He is now in the Gallatin County Detention Center with no bond.
And a Butte man is in jail for hitting another man with a retractable baton on Friday evening. Police claim Dwayne Clark struck a man in the head during a disturbance at a residence on Oregon Street with an asp baton. Now, the victim survived that attack, and Clark was arrested that evening without incident.
Also, Montana Senator Jon Tester pushing for more addiction counselors and to get them paid for by Medicare. Tester's office announced the introduction of the Addiction Treatment Access Act, which would allow healthcare centers to hire more licensed addiction counselors and have their services covered by the federal government. 3 other senators are joining Senator Tester to introduce this bill. The rates for self-reported drug and alcohol abuse in Montana are higher than the national average.
And new this morning, for the second time this year, Montana officials are warning about a political mailer disguised to look like an official census form.
Newsy reporter Meg Hilling explains how this latest mailer works.
Montana officials are warning residents about a survey with a similar appearance to a federal census form that was mailed to some households. Labeled as a 2019 congressional district census, state officials say the imitation census form was mailed by the Republican National Committee seeking funds for President Trump's re-election campaign. The mailer requests donations of at least $15 for processing the census document. It includes questions about President Trump's illegal immigration policies and national media bias. In a press release, Montana's Census and Economic Information Center at the Department of Commerce said official U.S. Census Bureau surveys will never ask respondents for money, and those will always be postmarked from the U.S. Department of Commerce, U.S. Census Bureau. This isn't the first time a lookalike census form has made the rounds in Montana. State officials say a nearly identical mailer was sent to some residents in May. An RNC official told The Hill the mailers clearly say they are from the RNC. Montana's Lieutenant Governor Mike Cooney said in the press release that Montanans need accurate information about the census to make sure we have a complete count of the folks who live here. He added an accurate and complete census count for Montana is too important to take lightly.
Now, also new this morning, Montana will see some time in the U.S. Supreme Court this coming year. One hearing revolves around a case that could change the face of public education and the definition of separation of church and state. Tax credit scholarships have long been disputed, and whether or not children at religious schools should be exempt from that funding. Montana School Choice Program was enacted in 2015, but in 2018, the Montana Supreme Court ruled the program unconstitutional. The appeals to that ruling have now made it all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. That hearing is expected in early 2020.
Now, in the other case, the towns of Opportunity and Crackerville are seeking addition cleanup of arsenic after a century of copper smelting.
Yeah, the communities say Atlantic Richfield Company should pay for more thorough cleanup. That hearing is set for December 3rd.
Now, we do have to take a quick break, but in 8 days, there might be a new rule taking place. Coming up, Montana This Morning, we take a look on public assistance, Section 8 housing vouchers or food stamps, and the role they're about to play in the fight over immigration.